Hey people, sorry I haven't made any videos in a bit. I ran out of money after making my anime, and then I had to get a very horrible and strange job working in a shocking and weird and very dangerous haunted house, which is a story I might tell you about later when I'm not actually still doing it. If you guys could like and share my anime, that would be really appreciated because I need to reopen my anime studio as soon as possible. I need to pay my employees, and yeah. Anyway, aside from that, I've also been very sick. I seem to get sick every Christmas. And on top of that, someone also got me Pikmin 4 for Christmas, and I decided to just not use my energy and just sit on the couch and play Pikmin a lot. Anyway, so yeah, my last Godzilla video did really good, and at this point I might as well combine that with my previous interest of covering weird Japanese hamburger tie-in commercials, and yeah, so that's a thing, and I'm gonna use that as a jumping off point to discuss number one, this brand new Godzilla vs McDonalds commercial, as well as the weird state of McDonald's in Japan and the US, and the continued dominance of Godzilla Minus One as the best Godzilla movie of the year. Have you guys seen it yet? It was very budget efficient. Okay, so yeah, let's start off with the Minus One updates. Yeah, Godzilla Minus One continuing to make Godzillion dollars. It grossed another $3 million this week, putting it beyond healthy worldwide with a total gross of $76 million, which is at least 4 times more than its supposed under $15 million budget. And with that, it is a few million dollars close to surpassing the total gross of Shin Godzilla, which is kind of nuts. Now, on top of that, it is also the highest grossing Japanese film in American history, the number one foreign film in the US since 2004, and I'm hearing rumors that it is now potentially one of the first Japanese films in years to make more money outside of Japan than inside of Japan. Hey, people just like Godzilla that much, I guess. Now, obviously, with Godzilla at worldwide levels of hotness, of course people are going to try to cash in on the G-Man again because the G-Man has got the green. Except he's kind of black and not actually green, but anyway. Yeah, so on top of that, speaking of black, Godzilla Minus One is being released as Godzilla Minus One Minus Color on January 12th, a black and white supercut for super fans with possibly some extra director's cut material. Anyway, they keep releasing these black and white cuts every so often, and I can never tell if it's a good idea or not. I mean, sometimes they're cool. I guess they're fun if they include them on the DVD, but I get the point of doing it for Minus One because it is a remake of one of the only 2 black and white Godzilla movies, so for this point, it makes sense. But I don't know, I probably wouldn't go out of my way to see Godzilla Minus One Minus Color unless they do include it on the US Blu-ray release whenever that comes out. Anyway, since Minus One does continue to be such an inevitable, unsurpassed success, the hamburger tie-in was the next inevitable step, and that brings us to Godzilla vs. McDonald's. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with McDonald's, McDonald's is an American hamburger joint, and they just utterly suck. They're in a real state of identity crisis lately, and I have to say for like the past 30 years or so, Japanese McDonald's has been absolutely killing it. Japanese McDonald's is the world's best and greatest McDonald's, standing far and above all the other McDonald's. And I guess I'll talk about that later. But yeah, so anyway, about a week ago, McDonald's vs. Godzilla Part 1 dropped. Now, Part 1 was basically just a cut down of the longer commercial with some minor creative edits to make it a commercial for Godzilla vs. McDonald's, the Bear Brick. Have you guys heard of Bear Bricks? Are Bear Bricks still a thing? I guess someone has to be collecting these things somewhere, but yeah, I just can't support Bear Bricks. They're like worse Beanie Babies, uglier Funko Pops. Somehow they have all the scamminess and fake credentials of NFTs, but I guess you can get them for free in certain McDonald's Happy Meals or whatever. So yeah, McDonald's, Godzilla, Bear Bricks. Obviously the only good one is Godzilla. Anyway, so back to the commercial. Yesterday, part 2 of the commercial dropped, and that is a real meaty 1-minute fake trailer for a Godzilla vs. McDonald's movie, and it serves as a real commercial for the brand new Japanese Godzilla menu, which comes out January 5th, in case you're actually in Japan and you want to eat it. But anyway, so yeah, this premise is absolutely absurd. It's this fake trailer that sets up that Heisei Godzilla has returned to Japan, although since he died in Godzilla vs. Destroya, I guess this is actually his son. Anyway, the commercial fully got out the old Heisei Godzilla suit from storage, and it's super satisfying to see it in action again. Now, aping off the plotline from Godzilla Minus One, where the Japanese government just did not fuck with Godzilla at all. They didn't step in. They just let him do his thing. And Godzilla had to be defeated by a bunch of ex-Navy personnel who still had their boats. This presents us with a world where Godzilla attacks modern-day Japan, and once again, the Japanese government does absolutely nothing to deal with him. And somehow, this is kind of the plot of Minus One, but now it's twisted, because in Minus One, the point was that, like, only you can stop Godzilla. Whereas in this, it's anyone who wants to stop Godzilla can try to stop Godzilla. But more than that, if you break that down, that also means that anyone who wants to fuck with Godzilla can fuck with Godzilla and just make him madder here, which, you know, makes me stop in my tracks a second, because that is some incredibly bad policy if, like, any company could just fuck with Godzilla and piss him off or, like, you know, seduce him or whatever. Now, it is excellent plot fodder for a potential Godzilla Minus One sequel, don't get me wrong. Like, I can imagine if Godzilla was real and, like, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos were, like, having a private war to capture him, that would be entertaining as hell. That would be a great storyline for the Legendary films to go with, but they seem stuck on complaining about, like, how the Earth is actually, like, a hollow sphere full of monkeys and how King Kong is, like, the leader of this, like, subterranean monkey family. I don't know what they're on about, but yeah, that's not fun. Anyway, so the commercial goes on that McDonald's has to attempt to stop Godzilla. And now I'm, like, just thinking to myself, whoa, McDonald's? Well, what if some other company, you know, really pissed him off? You know, Godzilla might nuke Japan again. Anyway, so yeah, the commercial instantly gets cheesy. It does all the, like, classic Godzilla tropes you'd expect after that, but also it's McDonald's, so all they decide to do is just make him a really nice dinner. So we got all these, like, Godzilla tropes of, like, the terrified people of Japan running in panic, and, like, a teenage girl is like, oh, it's Godzilla, and then a random scientist is like, well, since Godzilla is alive, we can feed him something, but we will need to feed him a bigger burger. And so the Japanese McDonald's crew tries to, like, get Godzilla's attention and make him stop there for dinner, but they're too small and he doesn't see him and they can't reason with him. We get a random cut-in of two twins who seem to be the Mothra fairies. That's completely random. And anyway, so then in the end, Japan deploys the Godzilla menu, specially with 3 Godzilla burgers, specially made to appease Godzilla. Now, all of these Godzilla burgers have a special double-baked extra-large bun with Godzilla's signature lumps on it. Because, you know, when you think of Godzilla, you think of those, like, luscious lumps, right? Anyway, so yeah, we have this delicious spicy beef and potato burger. A burger consisting of a hamburger, a hash brown, and a cheese with some hot sauce on top. Not sure what to make of it. It sounds okay by itself. It sounds a little bit too much for a meal, but I think I would eat it. Then we have the smoky pepper chicken burger, a chicken cutlet covered in Canadian bacon, onions, some kind of Dijon mustard and cheese. And lastly, the double teriyaki burger, simply a scaled up version of McDonald's Japan's not all that appetizing signature teriyaki burger, a marinated burger in teriyaki sauce with a little bit of mayonnaise on top. So yeah, judging the 3 of these, I'm gonna say double spicy beef potato burger is maybe the winner. It's at the very least the most appetizing of the 3 from my eyes, but let me know what you think. Anyway, at the end of the commercial, a giant McDonald's robot is deployed for the sake of delivering Godzilla his dinner. Will that be enough to stop his rampage? Only time will tell. Okay, so yeah, that was not the best Japanese commercial I've seen this year. Not the best Japanese McDonald's commercial either, but it is probably the best Godzilla tie-in commercial I've seen since the 1990s when, like, they had the Taco Bell dog and all that shit. Now, all right, the Godzilla time is over. I'm just going to spend the rest of this video complaining and going off on a rant about McDonald's now. Sorry if you just came for Godzilla, but the Godzilla time is over. So yeah, McDonald's. If you don't know them, they're a hamburger shop. And I guess in the US right now, they're broken. Because of the recent inflation crisis rippling through the US, the average price of a McDonald's cheeseburger is averaging about $8 or $10 today, which I have to say is very bad. Because intriguingly, as the Godzilla menu just mentioned, and using that as a case study, I can tell that in Japan, McDonald's still has stable prices with none of their burgers going over $5, which is the psychological point of no return for most people where McDonald's is concerned, because no one wants to spend more than $5 on a not that good McDonald's hamburger. There's kind of an urban legend and kind of a philosophy called Big Mac economy. And Big Mac economy is this theory that says that since every country has a McDonald's and every McDonald's tries to do the same thing, If McDonald's is mostly the same in all countries, then a Big Mac should theoretically cost $5 in every single country. However, that's only if the country is doing everything right, because if they're not doing everything right, the Big Mac might be too cheap or it might be too expensive, and if that's the case, then something is out of whack for the local economy. Now, here's an old map of this concept from like a couple of years ago when like the Mac was still like about $5 in the US. Now, as you can see on this old map, the price is way higher in countries that either like don't have good access to cheap local beef, or countries that are like located on like tropical islands with minimal resources. But yeah, this has been like a thing that people kind of like use to like judge like how good an economy in a country is. Because back to American McDonald's right now, it's a total headache because McDonald's has always been regarded as the absolute lowest, cheapest, most garbage food you can buy in the US. And psychologically, if a burger from McDonald's is going to be more than $10, well, fuck that. Just get better food. Like, that's the same price as like grocery gas station sushi. So, buy that instead. Case in point, I got pho today, and the pho was less than a combo meal from McDonald's. It was also healthier, so yeah. While Japanese McDonald's has continued to evolve and innovate, they continue to have really cool and new and good food items every year. Hence this year's brand new Godzilla menu, and the previous Gundam menu, which had like some cool ass drinks and stuff. Most recently, Japanese McDonald's has also been making waves by doing these like really hype anime videos on like social media. Some of them are wholesome, some of them are sexy, but all of them like start a good conversation and get people being like, oh, I miss McDonald's, or oh, I'm such a lonely, sad virgin. Anyway, American McDonald's, meanwhile, hasn't done shit in decades. The last big thing they did is they destroyed all their classic restaurants and replaced them all with these like bland-ass coffee shop looking places. They got rid of all their playgrounds, so now there's no place to play, and now it's just like an absolute shit show that's been turned into a full state of chaos with the ongoing inflation crisis. Like, American McDonald's is just sleepwalking, doing just enough to stay open, but not doing anything to make themselves look good or stay relevant. Now, they did get some respect from me for doing that Grimace milkshake thing. I almost ended up buying one, but then I stopped because people online spread a rumor that it kills you, and I took that rumor absolutely seriously. I'm not dying for a fucking Grimace shake. Anyway, I've been to both Japanese McDonald's and American McDonald's, and if I had to rate them both separately on average, an average Japanese McDonald's is like a 7 out of 10. It's above average Japanese food, and it's classy, and it's cool, and there's new stuff, and it's really interesting. Whereas the average American McDonald's, if I'm being fair, is like a 3 out of 10, and that's if it's doing everything right. If it's not, then it gets lower. But like, anyway, yeah, like the average American McDonald's is just like fucking foul and rat infested and like full of problems. And then just for the sake of like throwing them all out there, like there are also international McDonald's. I've always wanted to try like Indian McDonald's because they have like McCurry. Some of them have like McPizza, which like was previously like only available at like one McDonald's in the 80s. Anyway, international McDonald's are about the same as the average American McDonald's, but I might be able to give them a little bit more leeway if I'm in a mood where I really miss American food because I'm traveling the world. Anyway, it's kind of funny to me that at least in America, the average American McDonald's employee is either an untrained child laborer just trying to like, make some fun money, or a drug dealer attempting to hold down a cover story for where their money is coming from. But that's not the case in Japan. In Japan, McDonald's employees are considered vital contributors to modern society. They are held in almost the same esteem as any other major profession. People will even dress up as them on Halloween because they're so respected. They do it non-ironically. And I think, again, this is another factor that just makes Japanese McDonald's on the whole just so much better, because it's a group of educated, functioning adults doing their job well and being proud of it, and not a bunch of desperate people on minimum wage barely making an effort to get through the day. One last new disruption has popped up lately that I feel like I should address, and that's that American McDonald's has created a shocking spin-off restaurant called CosMc. Something that seemingly no one asked for, on top of having a weird out-of-nowhere space theme. But it, oddly enough, seems to have a lot of the fun and kid-friendliness and happiness that present-day McDonald's seems to have completely abandoned. On top of that, it has a full decade's worth of new menu items. And quite frankly, if they make the mascot for this place Mac Tonight, I'm completely sold on it. Mac Tonight was a shortly lived McDonald's mascot in the 80s. He was really freaky looking, and he later showed up in the anime Busa Renkin and fought Captain Bravo. Anyway, I've seen a lot of people kind of down on the CosMc's concept, but I'm digging it. Like, I know it's absurd that a restaurant would create a spin-off, but I'm really excited about this. It's like the last gasp of fun, good shit that old McDonald's was all about in my childhood, and that's actually making me respect this move a lot. Now, don't get me wrong, I cannot even fathom the levels of corporate malfeasance that result in core McDonald's doing absolutely nothing new for almost a decade, then trying to lump all their new shit together as CosMc's. Now, that in itself is definitely not the right way to do things, but you know what, screw it. CosMc's is coming out, and it's one-upping classic McDonald's with an entire menu full of innovation. Now, a lot of people are also not cool with this menu. They say it's a little bit too hipstery, but fuck you. I like this menu. I'm mostly impressed by this menu. Now, here's the menu. I managed to get a hold of it. The weirdest thing about this menu is like the entire top left side is just bubble tea. Completely and totally nuts that McDonald's is finally getting into the bubble tea game, but I guess bubble tea is finally mainstream in America. Go figure. Now, anyway, it's weird that most of the normal McDonald's accessory items are still there. Like the breakfast menu is still there. The dessert menu is still there. The McCafe items are still there. One new addition that has me super stoked is the turmeric spice latte, aka a golden milk latte. I've only ever seen these on sale in Brooklyn, and in Brooklyn they cost like $15. So I'd be so interested in getting them like cheaper and faster from CosMc's and like, you know, at like my beck and call. The main differentiating factor between CosMc's and the old McDonald's seems to be that they lack burgers and fries, especially the fries. I really don't know how you're making a McDonald's with no fries. That seems like sacrilegious. It does still have burgers. It has this like queso burger that looks cool. And it also has this avocado tomatillo sandwich, which almost looks like it's vegan, except it has bacon. But yeah, the complete lack of French fries is a complete shocker to me. Like, honestly, McDonald's kind of only exists nowadays because of its French fries. And it looks like CosMc's doesn't have that. Instead, they offer pretzels or hash brown nuggets, but that's not the same thing at all. Oh shit, look at this citrus milkshake. That looks amazing. Anyway, I don't know what you guys think of this, but if CosMc's could just sell the quarter pounder and some fries, this would totally replace old McDonald's to me, because it just seems like in every way it's better than the old McDonald's. All right, well, that ended up being a long spectrum of my interests, so let me know if you would prefer more minor updates on Godzilla or more minor updates on McDonald's, especially since McDonald's and Godzilla are currently fighting. Who do you think is going to win this one? Whoever wins, we will lose. All right, let me know if you eat any of the things we've discussed today, and let me know what you think the problem with American McDonald's is, because there sure are a lot of problems with it. All right, later. Bye.